Grab your tea and some cookies if you have. My journey into this channel, how I got it. It's a long one. You know, I used to think my childhood was normal. And looking back at it now, I can see the breadcrumbs, which clearly showed that things weren't normal, but that I was stuck in a system where I didn't know anything else, except for maybe some outside comparing to friends' homes or movies, and thinking, shit, I really prefer sleeping over at my best friend's house versus her coming to mine, or having to warn my friends about coming to my house, or just hoping that we rather go to their house and having like this feeling in the pit of my stomach of, please don't come to my house. And then watching movies and thinking, is that how a family is supposed to be? And then that disjointedness of, my family's not like that. And then learning healthy things on television about quality time that's spent together. And then before I was 9 years old, knocking on the door of the living room where my mother was playing bridge with her friends, bracing myself, asking her, Ma, when can we spend quality time together as a family? And my mother laughing and looking at her friends and be like, where did you learn that, sweetie? And I said, from a movie, and her laughing and saying, that's not real life. So looking back, I can see all the little signs of how things weren't good at my family, but I didn't know better. And then reaching adulthood and always feeling like I am overcompensating, or this amazing chameleon that can just shift and change according to the group of people I'm in. Highly observant, able to morph myself into whomever you want me to be. It's probably why I became an actress. In many ways, I felt more seen and heard and validated on the stage than at home. Acting was a form of therapeutic release for me. In adulthood, everyone else seemed to have their shit together, and I felt like the swan swimming with this perfect image on the outside, but just paddling for dear life underneath. Overcompensating, having my shit together, was actually crippling low self-esteem, covered up in achievements and over-functioning. Not really knowing who I am or what I like and what I don't like, my opinions, being scared to even voice my opinions, scared of other people's anger. Just thinking, why does everyone else seem to really know how to do life, and I'm here just faking it until I make it, and sometimes I'm not making it until I didn't. Until my body had kept the score and my body decided no more. And that manifested in depression, anxiety, insomnia. I remember my heart rate was so elevated going to the emergency room, thinking something's wrong with my heart, and then them doing tests and saying, nothing's wrong with your heart, you're just stressed. Having panic attacks down the line later in life. Being on the hamster wheel of depression and anxiety, suicidal ideation, planning, coming to near execution. I did have an undiagnosed autoimmune condition, which was definitely making my sense of being and moving in the world really worse in many ways psychologically. But that was only diagnosed about 2 years ago, and I'm 36 now. But at the age of about 23, I had a major breakdown in my codependency where my relationships weren't really working. On paper, yes, but I found the navigations of relationships very hard. Craving intimacy, but also absolutely scared of it. I love you, now fuck off. That's what we call it in program. And Later on in recovery, doing my relationship inventory and realizing the patterns of the type of people I would allow into my life. Complicated people, as we all are, but some characteristics were repeating, and they're often linked to my mother and father. A lot of my romantic partners were a lot like my father. Now, my father I loved. He was the breadwinner of the family. He did very well at his job, but he was also a functional alcoholic, an adult child who grew up in a dysfunctional home and didn't have the greatest tools of coping as an adult. I was in denial for years about my father's drinking, thinking he just liked to drink a bit, and sometimes it started happening in the morning, and it's not that bad. In the meanwhile, I remember as a child walking on eggshells, not knowing when the next fight will break out between my mother and father, or the next bicker on a Sunday lunch with the guests, where I have to be like, oh, let's not do this now, and make jokes and try and calm them down, always being the glue between them during fights, or being sided with one parent against the other. Being the emotional container for my parents, which I should have never been. Listening to my father's stories late at night, him crying around me, saying if I wasn't there, he would have killed himself. Being a pseudo-parent to my own father, and having a mother that was so emotionally absent, unpresent, cold, competitive, with underdeveloped ego, and always looking for an extension of her self-worth through her children and their achievements, and never being fully seen as a person. I only came to realize that one way later. I remember for Mother's Day, I just felt numb and dead, and had this guilt of, I don't want to send my mother a Mother's Day card or tell her how much I appreciate her, because our relationship felt dead to me. It wasn't real. She wasn't my mother, the mother that I always wanted or needed. That realization came a bit later than my father. The denial around my father's drinking was gently broken by my then partner, who was in recovery at Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step programs. I've been engaged twice, never married. I often became the fixer or savior in the relationship, and would often pedestal my partner or put them below me, never as an equal. Being codependent is hard. Later on, it feels like you're dying, slowly suffocating. And to break those chains, those patterns, generational trauma, and then what you carry over and take responsibility for it, is a big task. It's a big task. It's hard work. Most people don't want to do it, but I felt like I didn't have a choice, because it was either continue living a lie in which I felt suffocated, like I was dying slowly, or choose the alternative of feeling, working through the feelings for the first time, becoming aware of feelings, peeling back the onion layers, going past the denial, looking at things as they are with clear eyes, with clarity. There's no minimizing. There's no, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was bad. For me, my experience counts. To reach a point where I could grieve what was done to me as a child, wherein I didn't have choice, where adults were supposed to show up in a certain way and they didn't, and that forms of abuse aren't always so overt, but can be very subtle, but just as painful, as real, as traumatizing. It's been one hell of a journey. I don't regret it. I'd rather have the life I have now, stepping into who I truly am, versus wear the masks, dance the old dances, be the people pleaser, the good girl, the golden child, the lost child, the black sheep, all those titles, and just be Nika, who she truly is, who has boundaries, who can say no with a full stop, who can remove herself from situations that no longer serve her, situations, people, places, things, institutes. Say goodbye, not have to justify why. I see you. It's a tough journey, but it can be done. And there came a point with all the hard work and soul searching where one reaches a point of eventually wanting to help others as well. And I think I reached that point after lecturing also for a long time and having walked a journey from about the age of 23 in therapy and 12-step recovery, to reach a point where I enjoyed the giving out, seeing other people transformed because of my nurturance and guidance. It's incredibly uplifting and quenched. It was like drinking delicious water from a fountain that was ever giving. It reached a point where my cup was full and I could give back and share my experience, strength, and hope, and say it does get better. This too shall pass. Might be painful now, might be a lot, but you will get better. And healing is a journey. There's so many layers, and the work never really fully stops. But eventually the museum of your childhood becomes a place you can walk past and be like, yes, I visited there many a time. Look at all the animals, objects as they stand transfixed, frozen in time. Observe them, but no longer put the skins on and play with the objects and become involved in the world back then. You no longer do that. And that is very liberating, to reach a point of, there it is. Sometimes it needs some attention, some loving, but the awareness and seeing it clearly and the decision what to do about it is incredibly empowering. So that's how I got here. Went from a lecturer, was an actress, puppeteer, facilitator, lecturer. I did a diploma in puppet therapy, which was phenomenal. And I was like, shit, I need to be registered to be able to practice these techniques in a safe and ethical manner. So I did honors in drama therapy, decided not to do full-on masters, but rather take the registered counseling route. Did my undergrad in psychology and truly believe that you can become who you are, who you were always meant to be, and eventually give back. It's possible.